Hello and welcome to another webinar designed to improve your health and well-being and the health and well-being of those around you. So today's topic is, let's see if I can get this working. Maybe not. There you go, webinar 25, focus and awareness, which could also be called what you measure improves, or what you pay attention to and measure, you treasure and it improves. The purpose of this webinar series this year is to help you and me go from goal setting to goal getting. Instead of giving up on your New Year's resolutions, learning to make new days resolutions. So every day you start afresh, you've got a new plan, or you can restart your plan. I want to inspire more self-health responsibility, because I truly believe that the more we look after our health, the more likely we are to actually achieve self-peace. And the more of us that are at peace with ourselves, it is more likely we're going to spread some peace to others and influence others to make better decisions. And more people at peace, more people making better decisions will only help world peace. So that's the big goal. There's a little bit about me. You can pause this if you're watching the replay. One of my favorite quotes, it's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Most people, they think they're fine. They tell me, I don't need to look after my health, Chris. I feel fine. I'm not on any medication. I'm fine. However, the only way to stay fine for most people is to work at it, and most people don't work at it. They think they might be working at it, but they're just going on what society's done for a long time, and that is often a trap. However, at the end of the day, it's you who decide whether or not you want to get healthier. It's not your genes. It's not what medical doctors are telling you. It's not what society is telling you. It's up to you, and you have more power than you probably realize. What we're going to cover today is the why and the what of awareness and focus. Why is it important? What is awareness? What is focus in terms of health and wellness and improving performance, basically, whether it's for yourself or whether it's for your team, whether it's your work, whether it's personal health or business health. It does all overlap. Measurements to take, checklists for 47% improvement, what to focus on to live longer and healthier, and the one thing, and a few other bits and pieces as well, I'm sure, and what we're going to do next as well. Oh, no, neither of those buttons work. So, just in case you don't know what I look like, that on the top left-hand corner in the one with just a picture of one person, that's me. I think I was climbing up Snowdon that day. So for those of you who don't know Snowdon, it's a mountain in Wales. It's particularly beautiful. That's one of the routes up, and that was in 2017. It's now 2023. So yeah, 6 years ago. And then the picture of me looking wet with my friend John also looking wet, that's us on top of Snowdon just a few weeks ago. Very different weather, but I just thought I'd throw it in there because it's something I've recently done and I loved it. So a little bit more about me. One of the many things I've done is I am actually a heroic coach, as well as a chiropractor and a functional nutritionist and a whole load of other stuff. I've also studied mental performance mastery with Brian Kane, and today we are talking about pillar number 3, focus and awareness. Focus and awareness, pillar number 3. So what is focus? Well, focus as in what we're focused on is ability to zero in to the task at hand. So just like when your eyes or when binoculars, telescope, you bring something into focus so you can see it clearly. When you zero in on the task that you're meant to be doing, you will see it clearly. You will understand it more clearly when you know what it is, when you really focus on just one thing at a time. Awareness is the ability to recognize when you're getting distracted and need to refocus. So, but awareness basically can be aware of all the different things that are going on that you need to be aware of to help you stay focused, but also all the things you need to be aware of to make yourself stay on track, or what to avoid, what to go towards. So this is from the 10 Pillars of Mental Performance Mastery by Brian Kane. And pillar number 3, focus and self-awareness. If you don't have present moment focus and self-awareness, you won't be able to navigate the adversity that is part of the game, and you won't be able to perform at your best on a consistent basis. Now here, Brian's talking about game because actually in the book, he's actually talking about bringing focus and self-awareness to a team of top flight players in, I don't think it was American football, I think it was another game. But Brian Kane, basically, he coaches entire teams on mental performance. He coaches coaches so that they can coach the actual mental performance to their team. So focus and self-awareness allows you to give the gift of your presence. So it allows you to actually be where you need to be, whether it's on the pitch, playing a game, or whether it's in your role at work, or whether it's in your role as being in charge of your own health. And every day isn't going to be sunshine and roses. And that's realizing what's going on. Awareness is critical because awareness is the precursor to all change. With awareness, you can change. Without it, you will be the victim of your emotions or the victim of your circumstances, as opposed to in self-health control. Now, I think all of the addiction programs, all the 12-step programs, all start with awareness. And just as addiction programs start with awareness that there's a problem, health starts that there's awareness that, yes, there may be problems, but also awareness that there are things you can actually do. So today, I'm going to hopefully make you very aware of some things that you can do, the targets that you need to be aiming for if you really want to be as healthy and well as you want to be, rather than just hoping you're going to be as healthy and well as you want to be. So focus, follow one course until successful. I don't know who first coined that, but that's basically what we're talking about. Now, awareness to actions and mindsets that might be holding you back is one thing, but they allow you to formulate simple growth plans to reach your goals. And this is straight out of Mental Performance Mastery. So a great awareness exercise. Now, Peter Drucker, I think he wrote a book called The 1 Minute Manager. Not sure if he's a millionaire or a billionaire or just highly successful, and then wrote books about how other people can be leaders in their business. He does this. If you want to be an effective, he wrote the book Effective Executive. There you go. Want to be an effective executive or an effective human being, start by tracking how you currently spend your time. You don't start by thinking about your ideal day. You start by looking at what you're currently doing. So a great exercise to see where you might be going wrong or what you're doing is to just keep track of your day. Because so many people tell me they don't have time to exercise. They don't have time to look after themselves. Whereas every world leader and so many effective executives, so many people who are leaders of massive companies, they find time to be healthy because they know that if you are not healthy, then you're not going to be able to lead. You're not going to be able to lead yourself. You're not going to be able to lead your team, your country, your family, your friends, and you certainly are not going to be able to lead yourself properly. Mahatma Gandhi, he always said, he always used to exercise for an hour every day. He used to meditate for an hour a day. And he often said, and one of his quotes was, I'm going to be very busy today, so I better meditate for 2 hours instead of 1. So yeah, it's awareness exercise to just be aware of what you are currently doing. So are you making lots of notes? Are you overfeeding yourself coffee? Are you spending lots of time watching TV? Are you spending lots of time on social media? Are you spending, of course, lots of time socializing? Nothing wrong with having fun, by the way. Nothing wrong with any of these things in the right amounts. But how much time are you spending doing all these different things? So track it for a day. Maybe set a 15-minute timer from when you get up and track, okay, how long am I doing this? How long am I sitting down reading the morning paper for? How long am I maybe sitting down just scrolling through social media in the morning? How long does it take me to make breakfast? How long am I traveling? What am I doing while traveling? Could I be doing something else? Is there a way to make my time more effective and productive? So, and also take a track of what you're putting in your body, because that is so important. Are you putting in mostly wheat and chips and bread and potatoes and refined carbohydrates and sweets? What's going in your body? Now, again, there's some great tools to help you track what's going in your body as well, all sorts of things. So if you want some help there, reach out, or you can just use a pen and paper. Now, I can't remember where this research came from, but just 30 minutes a day squandered on someone or something watching like Netflix basically works out to 180 hours a year. So even just 15 minutes a day scrolling through your phone, looking at social media, looking at stuff that's just entertainment, but isn't really adding any value apart from just for the brief moment, that's 90 hours a year. What could you do with an extra 90 hours a year? And now, lots of little multiple times with just a few minutes adds up as well. So there's usually lots of time you can free up. And even if you think that a few minutes isn't lots, just how long does it take you to brush your teeth once or twice a day? A few minutes, you do it, you find the time. Now just imagine if you found a few minutes to exercise twice a day, or a few minutes to eat more healthily, or a few minutes to be grateful, or to meditate, or to thank your friends, or to give someone a call to support them. There's always ways to find more time. And self-awareness, the more self-aware you are, leads to success. It's exponential. There you go, success. Now, measurements. Is that what we're going into? Not yet. I think I just forgot to change the slide around. There's something called Pearson's law. When performance is measured, that's why I left the measurement in there. When performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, performance improves exponentially, which is what that is, an exponential curve. So there's one thing to measure what's going on, but reporting it back, being accountable to either a loved one or having a coach to be accountable with, that really works, especially in forms of health. I should know. So yeah, that's from business, but it applies to everything. When you measure what's going on and you report it back to someone, this is why I use something called a momentum tracker for some of my coaching clients, so we can actually look at what's going on and perform and get better and better. So what you measure improves. Simply bringing people into a lab. Okay, what was it? Simply bring people into a lab, split them into two groups and give them one group of pedometer. That's it. Yes, and they found out that basically when they gave someone something to measure how many steps they were taking, the group that got the pedometer would actually then, on average, walk a mile further per day than the people who didn't measure. So just measuring and tracking will improve your behavior. So if there's something you want to improve, exercise, measure it and track it. If you want to improve your diet and your nutrition, measure it and track it. As I said, there's some great tools out there that are free to use. So targets, what should you be measuring or could you be measuring to keep yourself on track and on target? So there are lots of things, and you're about to find out that life is a recipe, or maybe it's an equation with lots of complicated numbers. 5,649, 32, 7, 10, 0, liquid. 22,500, that's liquid, you had to, it's a recipe. 22,500 to 8,000, yes, getting smaller. 5 and 47%. Yes, that's a good mathematical equation to help you, or recipe to help you be healthier. So 5,649 steps, yes. Experiments have basically shown that when you are sedentary and when you're sedentary but forced to be moderately active, your health will get better. But also, if you're moderately active and you're forced to be sedentary, your health will actually go backwards. You can read this later if you want to, but basically they found that within 1 week of becoming more sedentary, people reported 31% decline in life satisfaction. And they also found, by doing the reverse, is that if you have a minimum of 5,649 steps a day, you are less likely to be anxious, you are less likely to be depressed, and you will increase satisfaction with life. So quite clearly, experience has shown that if you take people who are active and make them less active, they're going to be less happy. And if you take people who are inactive and you make them move around, they will be happier. And the critical amount is 5,649. Now, that does not mean to say that that's all you have to do to be happier, but it's just an average. So if you're only getting 6,000 steps a day and you're someone who feels anxious and depressed, see if you can get in another 500 or 600, because you may only be a few steps away from feeling happier. And this is from Sitting Kills Moving Hills by Joan Vernikos, who was former director of NASA's Life Sciences Division. So she was in charge in trying to make sure that the astronauts were healthy before they went up into space, try and stayed healthy in space, and then got back to being healthy when they came back down again. And her science quite clearly showed that sitting kills and you want to move. And they found that 32 is a relevant number here. They found out that it's not so much doing hours of exercise intensely as in breaking up the sedentary part of the day. So they found out that if you're sitting for, I think it was more than just 19 to 20 minutes, your whole body starts to degrade. Like your muscles will start thinking, hey, I'm not needed. Your nervous system starts degrading, your hormone system, your bones start getting weaker after just 19 minutes of sitting still. And so they found out that getting up a minimum of 32 times from a seated position is what's needed to radically increase or decrease the decay and the rot, but also to improve your health, your well-being, how you feel, your muscles, your joints, your mobility. So getting up, from your bed counts as one get up. Getting up, if you've been sitting down on the loo, that's another time you've got up. Getting from a chair, every time you get up from a chair, a sofa, a bed, every time you get up from sitting down, it counts. But trying to intersperse this through the day. There's nothing wrong with doing 30 times in a row, but what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're breaking up your sitting. You want to get up and move regularly, or at least fidget. 7+. This is basically the minimum hours you want to sleep. Anything less than 7 for most people is going to be detrimental. You're going to be functionally drunk, basically, if you don't get enough sleep. And 7 is the bare minimum. And Anders Ericsson, who did a lot of research on musicians and highly skilled people and high performers of all kinds, found out that basically the people who did the better and who were learning the most and the most talented, on average, got 36 more minutes, 8 hours and 36 minutes of sleep every 24 hours. So that's not time in bed. That's not 8.5 hours in bed. That's 8.5 hours asleep. So then maybe spending 9 or 10 or 11 hours in bed to get that much sleep. And people like Roger Federer, he apparently, when he came to Wimbledon, he'd hire 2 houses, one for himself to sleep in and one for his family, and he would get a minimum of 12 hours in bed. A lot of the world's top sports people get lots of sleep, and they found out that the better they slept, the harder they could work. So if you want to improve your life, make sure you're getting in at least 7 hours, but if you really want to be a high performer, 8 hours and 36 minutes, and watch your health and your performance increase. Fruits and vegetables, this is another number to track. Governments often say UK governments say get 5 a day, but science actually says it's more like 10 or more portions of fresh fruits and vegetables. So that's quite easy to track, but it does mean that you have to make sure you get fruits and vegetables with every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not just dinner, not maybe just some fruit at breakfast and maybe some vegetables at dinner, or worse, just some vegetables at dinner, but nuts, fruit, basically fruits and vegetables every single meal you can do it. 0, not all E numbers, but most E numbers, most additives, most things that you don't understand what they are. When you pick up something, you want to have 0 things in there that you have no idea what they are. So 0 strange chemicals, 0 numbers in the ingredients list. When you pick up an apple, it's just an apple as an ingredient. Now then there will be pesticides and other things on there, but this is why you want to go organic. So you actually do decrease the weird chemicals going into your body. So you want to get that as close to 0 as possible. Next one, chew your food until it's liquid. This is a big mistake so many people make, is they do not chew their food anywhere near enough. It's not about chewing your food 30 times or 50 times. It depends on the food. Whatever you're eating, make sure you've liquefied it by chewing it really well before you swallow. Your stomach will thank you. Your intestines will thank you. Your health will thank you so much for basically grinding your food down till it's liquid. Because if you have big lumps of food in your stomach, it means that it's probably not going to be broken down by the stomach acids. And so it gets into your bowels and it's still lumpy. And your bowels won't be able to absorb all the nutrients properly. And then they can start fermenting and causing other problems. So chew your food really well. Next thing, don't pick your nose. Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating, not for breathing. Your nose is for breathing. And paying attention to nasal breathing, whatever you're doing. Even if you're going to go out for a run to improve your cardiovascular fitness, may I suggest to you that you slow down and just breathe through your nose. You will see amazing benefits in just a month. It may take a bit longer to actually get used to doing it. So it may take a few months before you're actually doing it fully, nasal breathing, and you are going to go much slower. But focusing on making sure you breathe through your nose all the time, except when you're sprinting and climbing mountains and you're getting really out of breath. But basically, for normal day-to-day life, even normal levels of exercise, when people are going out running to train their cardiovascular system, breathe through your nose. It will make a massive difference due to many reasons, which I've covered before. Now, the average person takes between 17,000 and 30,000 breaths a day, so say 22,500 as an average. And so that's basically between 12 breaths and 21 breaths a minute, the 17 to 30,000 range. However, in a book called Breathe by James Nestor, if you want to really get control of your life and feel happier and easier and get your nervous system really working for you, basically having 5.5 breaths per minute. So basically breathing in for 5.5 seconds, breathing out for 5.5 seconds. That brings it down to basically just under 8,000 breaths a day. And what we know from studying animals and the longest lived animals is they breathe slower. The slower you breathe, the longer you will live, pretty much. So if you go out and train yourself cardiovascularly by breathing through your nose and by slowing your heart rate, you will find that you won't have to breathe so much. And it's going to have knock-on effects on all areas of your life. So yeah, just imagine if you go from having to have 17,000 to 30,000 breaths a day to only 8,000, just think of the energy you will save as well. So there we go. That's breathing. Next thing that I suggest you have a look at is identifying your strengths. I have spoken about this so many times, and only a few people ever get back to me and tell me what their 5 unique strengths are. I'd love to know what yours are. Now, there are many different virtues: wisdom, self-mastery, courage, love, hope, gratitude, curiosity, zest. And actually, when you start understanding these and start expressing these on a daily basis, you're going to find your life improves when you're consciously actually aware of these things. However, one thing that science has really shown is if you know what your top 5 unique virtues or character strengths are, and you can go to viacharacter.org, and there's a version for people under 17 as well, and you answer a series of questions and it lists, I think there's 20 main character strengths that they rate, and you can see what your top 5 are. You can see all 20 in order. And you can have a look at what's at the bottom, and you can decide whether or not you want to work on raising those, or whether you just want to actually just concentrate on living your top 5 virtues. And the top 5, the 5 that come up the top, it won't really be a surprise to you, because they are what you're living, they are you. But what the subtle difference is if you actually consciously know what they are, and on a daily basis you consciously acknowledge how you have lived your top 5 virtues, you will realize you're living the life you want. And you will be happier, you will feel more grateful, you will be healthier, your immune system will work better, all sorts of, you will actually start earning more money apparently as well. So learning your top 5 virtues and living them consciously every day, or even writing about them, after a few weeks you will be happier and healthier. And again, I've done more details about this in the past, but go to viacharacter.org, learn your top 5 virtues, learn them by heart. And again, every 6 months, a year, redo it again, because we do change. So there may be some shifts. So something might fall out of your top 5. There may be something new, or you may think, I've got better names, I'm not quite like that. Make it your own and understand it, live it consciously, because it will have great impact on how you live your life and how great you feel about your life. So the next thing, how do you take track of all of this? Well, checklists. Atul Gawande, I believe he's a medical or a surgeon, anyway, medical or surgeon, and he looked at how checklists are used in everything from operating planes to bringing it into surgery. And they found out that basically when they brought a checklist into surgery, they decreased mortality and accidents by 47%. And so his point is that surgery, like any complex task, requires a regular check of all the fundamentals to liberate the team to focus on the work and any unexpected circumstances that may arise. So a checklist helps you focus on the fundamentals, the things that are important to keep you where you're going, without you having to think about them, so you can become aware of the things that are going around that you have to respond to, but you can keep on track with a focusing checklist. So you've got a self-awareness exercise that I've been through, and now you can create a focused checklist. You can make a checklist of the things that I've just been through and see if you can actually start tracking and doing better in them, or as well as you want to. And there is one more thing to have a look at. Okay, now the one thing times 2. What's the one thing that I could be doing that, if I did it more consistently, would most fundamentally change my life? So is there one thing out of everything that I've spoken about, or everything that you know you need to do, that would actually make a big change if you started doing it more consistently? Because if you already know what it is, whether it's eating more vegetables, or whether it's doing more exercise, or getting more sleep, what do you think that one thing is for you? And start with just that one thing. Don't worry about doing everything, just start with that one thing. And the other thing is, what's the one thing you could stop doing, that if you stop doing it would most fundamentally change your life? So this is start one, stop one, basically. And may I suggest that the one thing you should stop doing is stop having what a lot of people are now calling carbage. Not carbohydrates, not garbage, but carbage, because there's a lot of incredibly refined white stuff out there, whether it's Coca-Cola, sugar, whether it's lots and lots of white bread, white pasta, and refined carbohydrates are massively degrading our system. Sugar, basically, whether it is in the sugar form or whether it's in the white carbage form of another. And the guy called Dr. Phil Maffetone, who, there you go, there's his website, who's an endurance trainer, and he's one of the guys I learned a lot about endurance from, and why it's important to train a certain heart rate if you really want to work yourself out cardiovascularly and then end up running quicker at the end of it. He's found that the one thing that's helped his patients improve all their health parameters, whether it's weight loss, whether it's heart disease, diabetes, or whether it's his coaching clients, because he's trained high-level athletes, he's trained world champions in endurance, and he found the one thing that's probably helped more of his clients and patients than anything else is stopping refined carbohydrates and sugars. And so he did something called a 2-week test, which is just basically taking note, becoming aware of how these things are affecting you. So if you want to do something self-directed with a little bit of wisdom, then go to philmaffetone.com/2-week-test and have a look and try it and let me know how you go. Stop the garbage. Now, again, to track all of this, I've spoken about a checklist, and you could use a pen or a paper. Or you could, as one of my other favorite quotes from Richard Buckminster Fuller goes, if you want to teach people a new way of thinking, don't bother trying to teach them. Instead, give them a tool, the use of which will lead to new ways of thinking. So you could use a pen and paper to track everything. And certainly at first, for a bit of self-awareness, pen and paper, I think, is very easy. But you may notice from the little compass there, the wisdom compass, hope, courage, curiosity, self-mastery, zest, love, gratitude. Those are the top universal virtues and character strengths. And this is the Heroic app, available at heroic.us. And people who use the Heroic app for just 30 days have shown more energy, productivity, and engagement with other people within just 30 days. It's at 40% more energy, 20% more productive, 15% more connected in just 30 days. That's using the free version of the app. I really want to stress that's the free version of the app. Okay, because the free version of the app gives you the tools you need to track all these different things. Because what you can do is you can get the app and then you can basically think, right, what I want to do is I want to track how many steps I'm doing. I want to track how many times I'm getting up. I want to track all these different things, and you can put it into the app and you just basically swipe every time you're actually getting where you want to be. And if you can link it with your Fitbit or if you've got a watch or something with all these things, then it's going to put steps in automatically into, well, it puts steps into the phone so you can actually then go across to the app and use it. But there's lots of things that you can track in the app, including your character strengths, and keeping you reminded that that's what you're looking at every single day. And so today we've been really talking about the 7 objectives in Heroic, and we've been talking about making today a masterpiece to dominate dominating the fundamentals. And the fundamentals, as far as I'm concerned, are the magnificent 7 of think right, talk right, drink right, eat right, move right, detox right, and sleep right. And there is actually a premium version as well. So if you have a QR scanner, you can just scan this QR code, or you can go to the Heroic us /optimize/let's go $FPR equals peace. And that is my referral link to the 30-day free trial of the premium app, which doesn't give you any more bells and whistles in the tracking department. It just gives you access to a lot of the wisdom. So for instance, the books that I've spoken about today, there are summaries of these books in the paid for version, in the premium version. So if you want to check out the premium version, go ahead, but it's the free version is all you need to do all the tracking and to improve. Okay, so that's a bit of a recap. Awareness to actions and mindsets that might be holding you back is key, and they allow you to formulate simple growth a simple growth plan to reach your goals, whatever they may be, short or long term. And remember, it's the start that stops most people. Don't make it overwhelming. Keep it simple. Maybe look at the one thing that you can start doing and the one thing to get rid of and do less of. So next, now August it's International Peace Month. It's also Happiness Happens Month. Don't know whether that's international or just American, but they kind of go together. And so that brings me probably to pillar 10 in mental performance mastery, the right culture. So next month, expect me to talk about more peace, happiness, and building a culture of peace and happiness. I think that sounds like a good idea to me. So if you have any questions, email me, contact me, make a comment on YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever you see the video when I put it up. And if you want to reach out and contact me, if you don't already have my contact details because you just found me on YouTube, LinkedIn, etc., then beatbloodpressure.com or bodyimbalanceuk.com. Okay, be well, and be fantastic and be amazing and live with magnificent health wherever you are. Bye for now.